my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices. I'm your host, AJ Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat. We got a special guest, Dave Ramos. He is a radio personality, so it's going to be a good time chatting with him. And, of course, we got some of the crew. But before we get into the episode, if you're enjoying these podcasts, make sure you go hit up the new website. Go check it out. That is the Lost Art Project. Oh, man, I just messed it up. The Lost Art Project VeteransVoices.org. Go check that out. See what we're all about there. If anything you could do to help us, new nonprofit here. So anything you can do to help us would be much appreciated. And a big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go check them out. Even if you do, check them out again. They are an amazing organization. I highly recommend them. If there's any way you can support those guys, please do so. You can always find them at tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
Oh, man, here we are. We are live on just about every platform I have. We're on the face pages, the YouTubes. We're on the Ticker Talkers, the X. I didn't get it on the Instagrams tonight, so Instagrams, you're out of luck. But we have our special guest here, Dave. Dave, how you doing? From Veterans Take Charge is the name of the I think that's the name of the show you do, right? Veterans Take Charge.
Yeah, the Veterans Take Charge radio show. First and foremost, I got to say a couple of things, man. I'm so motivated about this. I'm stoked for the opportunity. And those intro videos are just, I might start doing push-ups. Like I'm pumped. It's awesome. So thank you guys.
Oh man, this is fantastic. I'm like cutting in and out like it's cool. So you guys, if I just, I'm not here, you gotta just carry on the conversation. No big deal. But welcome, Dave. We're excited to have you here, man. You're going to tell us all about being on the radio, how you got involved in that, all that type of stuff. I'm excited to hear all about it.
Right on. Well, I'm stoked to be here. I'm totally stoked to be here. There's so much stuff to talk about. AJ, you and I had touched base, and I was able to give you kind of a 30,000-foot view of all the stuff that I've got going on in the background. Yeah. And, if I did take time to talk about like the professional business, the day job, and all these different programs, I would need a lot of your calendar time. So you know what? The idea that I had today was kind of beautiful. I kind of want to give that 30,000-foot view of the things that are in my back pocket, but really kind of talk about what got me to this spot right here. As a quick side note, I have been in, VA therapy for quite some time, since I was still active duty, and things have been good. But today was a very interesting and unexpected trauma dump. And it was just an interesting character arc, really starting from like resulted in this position that I'm in right now. And it was just interesting to really kind of verbalize and start hearing about who I was and what kind of an introvert that I started as, and the experiences that really were pretty brutal and traumatic, and how it led to me being in a position of, dare I say, influence,
Uh-oh. I lost Dave. Are you guys hearing Dave?
No.
Okay. We lost you, Dave.
We froze up. We lost him a little bit ago, and he came back. And there he is.
I see him now.
There's Dave.
Oh man, I hope it's not my internet. I hope.
Yeah, don't blame mine. Dave, don't blame mine. Don't.
They cut your fiber optics all the way over in Georgia, Dave.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. What was the last thing you guys heard?
Oh, it was a traumatic day.
All right.
What was your question, Dave?
Well,
What'd you say?
I was just wondering, what was the last thing you guys heard? I have a tendency to go off the rails.
You were talking about how you had the 30,000 foot view, and then you also had like some of the trauma stuff today, and kind of you were talking through that, and then you kind of cut out.
Got it. Well, I apologize. It's just
No,
the
you're
arc,
good.
where we've been, what we went through, and where we're at right now. And like, it's hairy for some of us, It's hairy for some of us. So real quick, again, that 30,000 foot view. Right now, I'm the managing director for the Santa Cruz County Veterans Memorial Building, and we have a hell of a mission. Real quick side note: swearing off the
dude, it's not for kids. Not for not for kids. Not for kids. It gets a little hairy here sometimes, but that's all.
Yeah, but don't talk about donkey shows or anything like that. That's
half my content, man. What are you guys talking
about? Oh, well, man, yeah.
Nice. Hey, before you get into it, Dave, do you mind if I say hi to these guys and just see how they're doing?
100%. 100%.
All right, Mike, how you doing, man? No, Mike?
I hear you. All of a sudden, I hear seagulls.
Yeah,
those seagulls
too.
They're coming from me.
Everything froze up, and all I heard was seagulls. I was like, quack, quack. I was like, where's my French fries? It's like, no.
So how things going, Mike?
How things going for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Here in Southwest Georgia, yeah. Things are warming up, starting to pick up. We're getting into spring.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jim up in Tennessee is probably feeling the same thing. We're supposed to get a little more cold, but it's not going to be. It's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't complain. Today was 75 degrees. I can't complain. So
nice.
Work related, it's what it is. So
yeah, I hear you.
Dave, where are you at?
I'm in California, Santa Cruz, right? I could throw a rock and hit the beach just about.
Oh, man.
Him and Mark.
Yeah, you and Mark, man. Mark needs to be on here tonight. Yeah. Mark's in San Diego.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are always
Marine Corps population.
You guys are always bragging about everything about the Californians.
Those bragging rights are just
remind them about their taxes, and then they don't get to brag.
That's right. The taxes. Jim, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm surviving, doing pretty well. Funny thing is while you were doing the intro, my alert went off. You have a very low sleep score. I started laughing. I have that every night. It ain't changed in 20 years.
I love it. It's good. Oh man, gotta love it, man. Well, shoot, Dave. Let's jump into it. And real quick, Navy veteran, correct?
Negative. I saw that on the email. It looked like
I put Navy?
Part of the
I messed that up, didn't I?
I thought I corrected it. Sounds like I didn't.
I don't know what happened.
It's all good, man. One team, one fight, right?
Yeah, something like that. Until you screw it up and you're on my end, But.
No, I spent 7 years in the Army. I was a medic.
Army. Oh,
yeah. Man. I was in from April 8th, 2004 until January 30th, 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, lot to dig in there, man. It's only a few years, but those are some high impact years,
Yeah.
Said you were a medic?
I was, yeah.
Oh man, holy crap. Wow.
Ups and downs, as you guys can probably imagine. Are you guys all Marine Corps veterans?
Yeah, all of us are, yeah.
Every corpsman that I've ever ran into has been high speed, low drag. Those guys are individually augmented to you guys, and they are like battlefield PAs. They have to be. battlefield
Yeah.
PAs, and every one I was just very impressed with.
Doctor with the EGA. We
They
give
yeah.
them that respect.
I like it. Again, every corpsman has just been high speed that I've encountered, so it's good stuff. Hey, what's up, bud?
What's
Someone's irritating Dad.
like, hey, Dad. Hey, Dad.
Yeah, dad has to be accosted there, so it's all good.
Yeah, they were trying to braid your beard.
She was looking at my earring, which happens to be a nail that I bent and I just put in, so it's all good.
Oh man, you have an earring? Seriously?
Wait a minute, it's a real nail?
It's a real nail. Yes, sweetie, it's a nail.
Come on, man. You have it.
No, you cannot have it. Nuh-uh, don't pull on it. Don't rip it. Don't rip it. It's like my dad would have ripped it out, though. I can tell you that.
And he was done like
Sorry,
Heartbreak Visions, just ripped it out.
Yeah, that's what my dad would have done. Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
You guys seen the movie Major Pain? I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
He did that.
Hilarious.
What a great movie.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that. Go ahead, Jim. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay.
No, I was saying that was one of those movies. My kids, my son and my daughter. My son's 28, my daughter's 24. But we sat and watched that movie, and it's like, my son and I nonstop just like movie quotes, and even my daughter does it. And she's like, just spitting. I won't even get into it. It's like spitting. He's sitting there going on about stuff, and I was like, that was probably a movie my kids shouldn't have seen at that age. It wasn't bad by any means, but it was like sitting there watching it, and it's just a nonstop quote between my son and my daughter and me. It's like,
well, in comparison to movies and shows nowadays, it's nothing.
yeah. What's the other
very,
one? What
PG.
was the one that we had? God, it was like a Vietnam movie, but it was like a comedy. It was like
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Oh my God. Yes.
Tropic Thunder, yes.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder.
Oh
Yeah. I took my son to see that damn movie when we were in Minnesota. I didn't know. I was like, oh, it's going to be funny. We were sitting there, and it just went right from the start. It was like, oh, man. I looked over at him. I was like, damn, we shouldn't be here. We said, watch Tropic Thunder. And to this day, he will sit there and quote stuff.
Dude, that movie is a riot from the get-go all the way down.
Stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He just,
Yeah. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Dave, let's jump into it, man. Go ahead and give us some good scoop on what you got going on, man.
Right on. Well, I appreciate it. So again, I'm the managing director for the Santa Cruz County Veterans Memorial Building, and we have a lot of stuff going on. The nature of the building itself, it was built in 1932, and it's always been like dedicated as a veterans building. Long story short, there's been some political stuff that happened in the 90s that resulted in my board of trustees being created. And so we are responsible for maintaining and operating the building as a cultural community center for county, primarily county purposes, secondarily veteran purposes, and then tertiary would be for the cultural, for the community, right? So it's a cultural community center with a very veteran-centric mission.
Right.
We rent the hall out for like concerts and trainings, different activity groups. So like tonight, right across, I'm here right now, and across the hall, we're going to have tango is going to be here. We've got a swing dancing crew downstairs in our basement. We're going to have fencing, and so some kids are going to try and stab each other in the face. We've got a couple of theater organizations. Oh, it's great. What's super rad. So we have concerts pretty often. On March 7th, we're getting ready to have the Central Coast Fighting Championships build a cage in the auditorium, and they're going to have a Muay Thai and a Jiu-Jitsu championship fight. and I'm
no kidding.
pumped about that.
Wow.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Cool.
You know,
That
So,
is
like,
awesome.
every-
So are people going to be like buy tickets for it type of thing, or
Yep,
and so it'll be
100%.
like raising money and stuff for your project, or
yes and no. So
okay,
with the idea that it's a cultural community center, like Joe Schmo can come and rent this place out for almost whatever they want, you know, and so they would do with the proceeds whatever they want. Of course, I always want to collaborate with them so that we can, you know, benefit, whether it's if they want to make a monetary donation or if we can sell, you know, merchandise or product. I'm always looking for collaboration, right? I'm always looking for collaboration. So repeat guests, repeat customers is where it's at, you know. Every Wednesday we have our Veteran Service Day, and so we have typically, you know, about 100 veterans that come through on Wednesdays, and we have it all starts roughly around 9 a.m. And so we have VA medical comes in and they do on-site like referrals and quick assessments. We have HUD-VASH and, you know, the Housing Urban Development Veteran Assisted Supported Housing crew comes in and they do a presentation for any homeless or at risk of being homeless veterans to try to get them, you know, low-income housing options. We've got education opportunities, employment opportunities. Recently, I started getting one of the local banks to come in and provide services like financial management services with veterans.
That's awesome.
And then, you know, there's a free hot lunch and a food pantry for veterans. And it's just like community and camaraderie is wildly important to me personally and also to the community, you know?
Yeah.
So we get as many veterans in here as possible to just break bread, to share, to be engaged, to be involved, you know? There's so many things that I want to say, so forgive me if I start going in a bunch of different directions.
You're good. You're good. Just real quick, is that a daily thing that you guys do, like the lunch and everything with the veterans, or how does that work out?
Every Wednesday, in particular. Every Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. And then peppered throughout the week, you know, here and there, we get different specific veteran things. But Wednesdays are our definite veteran service days. On Thursdays, there's a Air Force veteran. Air Force retired master sergeant. He comes in and he teaches veterans Taekwondo, right?
Oh, wow.
A couple of different things like that, just all over the place. As a matter of fact, on March 24th, I believe. Are you guys familiar with Operation Surf?
I'm not sure I know what that is.
So Operation Surf is an organization that takes disabled veterans surfing. And so they'll provide like surfboards and training, and they take them like not just Santa Cruz, but like all over the place. I'm talking like Hawaii, different countries up and down the coast to surf. And we're talking about like veterans, any disabled veteran can qualify and be involved in this, but they're taking, you know, severely disabled veterans. I think last year there was a triple amputee and they got him some prosthetics. They got him a wetsuit. And of course, like, they've got instructors embedded. So they'll do part of it on the beach to do the initial like setup and training. And then they'll go into the water and start out slow and just build up and build up. So they're going to be here to do a dinner. The Blue Star Moms in particular, they're the group that's going to be hosting them. And so they do like a nice big dinner. They have a projector and a screen. They do like a slideshow. And again, community and camaraderie.
Right.
Real quick side note, there is a documentary, I believe it's still on Netflix, and it's called Resurface. And it's about this veteran, a Marine Corps veteran named Bobby Lane. And I mean, let's call it what it is. You know, suicide is the biggest thing that we're always trying to
mitigate.
Mitigate. Yeah, thank you. So the story is that Bobby Lane had the gun to his head and he was like, you know what, I'm going to try surfing and we'll just see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's it. You know, so he got himself involved with Operation Surf, saved his life, turned his life around. So I found Bobby Lane on the internet, much like the same way I found you, AJ, and brought him on the radio show and was like, hey, tell your story. And so he brought his documentary crew in there. And, you know, I'm on this documentary for like 2.5 seconds. So that's my
nice. You made it.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of what we do in a nutshell here at the Veterans Memorial Building. Now, we also have the Veteran Service Office, and those are the county employees that are responsible for making sure that veterans have access to and help them get service-connected disability, benefits.
Wow.
They get access to the GI Bill and Voc Rehab. They've got work study programs with the local college students, the local veteran college students. There's a huge campaign that I'm the face of that maybe we'll get into. I'm making structural changes within the county government in support of the Veteran Service Office, and there's a whole slew of reasons why. But they are, ran by a veteran, Marine Corps veteran, coincidentally, and he's got his team of veteran service representatives, the veteran advocate, and the outreach crew that are engaging with veterans that are like homeless or brand new out of the military, or they end up in jail. There's the vet court program and the hospitals. So we're trying to touch and engage with as many veterans here in the Santa Cruz County as possible. We're the second smallest county in California. There's 55 counties here, second only to San Francisco County, and there's about 7,500, 8,000, depending on which your source is. That many veterans here in the county. The utilization rate out of that office to get veterans access to their benefits, as well as dependents and survivors, the utilization rate's only like 40%, which it might be standard across the board, but I want 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%, So again, my building here in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. And of course, there's plenty more we can dig into with that. My organization bought a resort up in Ben Lomond in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Oh yeah, this is incredible. And dude, you telling me about this, and I was like, oh my God, man, it's crazy. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So I wrote a paper when I was in college. I was a student intern for the guy that I took over for. I wrote a paper in my grant writing class, and the grant was to buy a hotel. And the first floor would be all veteran services, everything you could possibly think of, not just the VA services, but things like Operation Surf and all these mom and pop organizations that provide support and resources for veterans. And then every floor above that would be housing for veterans. So I gave the paper to Chris Cottingham, who's a previous executive director here for the organization. And he was my point of contact. So I was like, dude, check it out. Tell me what you think. And he was like, yeah, that's a pretty good paper. Cool. So I submitted it, got whatever grade I got. So fast forward a couple of years, COVID. All of a sudden, people that are on the street are like literally dying. We've got people in this pandemic. Nobody's supposed to be outside, 6 feet apart, shelter in place. And we've got these homeless folks, right? So when I did that paper, the point in time count for Santa Cruz County was something like 235 homeless veterans that they could account for. Chris and the board got together and thought, hey, let's do something for these homeless veterans. Let's provide them some housing support. So they pooled some money together and tried to buy a hotel right down the road in Watsonville. I know exactly the hotel. I know exactly when it went up for sale. And so long story short, they didn't get it, but they ended up buying a resort up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. It was an old seasonal resort. And so they bought it. They kind of fixed it up a little bit. There was 10 units. And the whole concept and idea was long-term, permanent supportive housing for homeless veterans. And so they had 10 units and a like a manager's unit, like a big house, right? And so they took literal homeless veterans off the streets during this pandemic and gave them permanent supportive housing. And the key kicker with this is it's not just housing, right? Because if you take a homeless person, put them under a roof, like you have fixed housing, but the recidivism rate is definitely a thing to take into consideration. So the supportive services embedded with that, that's where the key is. Every one of them has a HUD-VASH counselor that's responsible for making sure that they are holistically taken care of, right? Yeah. You've got housing resources, you've got access to mental health resources, physical health resources, financial management, like a little bit of a lot, right? And so some of these cats are still like thriving in the project.
Wow.
Right now, as of March 24th, this coming March 24th, that's when our development deal is supposed to close. And that development deal is the expansion of the project. We've got 6 additional units, Connexes. I mean, I lived in a Connex in Iraq a couple of times. We got some Connexes on site. There's 4 more that are supposed to be on site, and then they're refurbishing those standalone units that are there, so that we're essentially going to double capacity, and we're going to get more homeless veterans off the street and give them permanent, long-term supportive housing. And that's something
awesome.
that, like, I'm pumped about that for a whole bunch of different reasons. Here at the building, one of my teammates, one of my employees, he's a resident there. And if it wasn't for another Marine Corps veteran who wouldn't have found him and said, yo, let's get you off the street, who knows where he would be. So he's an absolute success story.
Wow. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. You know, and I got to be honest with you, these Connex boxes and the homes that pop up, I get these all the time on my Facebook feed. And I'm constantly like, oh, wow, that one's really cool. And I'll save the picture because I'm like, man, you know, those are so cheap. Well, in comparison, I'll say cheap, but, you know, fairly cheap, you know, and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with them. It's amazing. Right? I saw one that literally they stacked like, I don't know, it was like 10 or 12 like high or something like that and did like an apartment building. It was wild.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot of potential with that. You know, tiny homes, tiny home villages, connexes. You know, I've seen people who take those connexes and it's like not just the live-in unit, but they'll stack a couple, just like you're saying, and then refurbish them, right? Cut big panels out and have like big, massive windows, staircases, just huge potential.
It's amazing what you can do with them. I mean, I guess you just got to have a what is it? Where there's a will, there's a way.
You got it.
You know,
you got it.
And an imagination. I don't have very good imagination. I just copy everybody else. So.
Big tiny homes. Our mayor here in Knox County, Mayor Kane, you know, from WWE, biggest mayor in the country. Anyway, they just broke ground on our tiny home village we're gonna build to get homeless off the street here.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
The concept seems to be spreading, so that's good.
Oh, it is. Yeah, Tennessee is where I live. We're very blessed with massive support for veterans.
Dude, I love that. I love that for a lot of different reasons. And one of the things I want to talk about is along those lines. There was something else I was going to mention about the village.
Sorry, we threw you off.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It'll come back to me. I'm sure it will. In regards to, again, my day job, there's one other thing. We have another Veterans Memorial Building in Watsonville, just about 15 miles away. Again, super small county, but for some reason we have two. Roger got it. This other building, this other building is leased by the city, and so it's not ran by veterans. We the veteran community, the United Veterans Council, we have access to like 1/10 of the building, and that's a whole thing. My organization and the United Veterans Council were making movements to assume property management so that we can essentially, I remember what I was going to say, so that we can mirror my operation up here, what we're doing down there.
Smart.
And that's what I was going to say, is that with the Veterans Village and this building here, like the concept and the idea is that we put a nice little bow around it, and I can give it to you guys, Tennessee, right? Georgia, Oklahoma, and you guys can do the same thing with it, right?
Right.
Here in California, just over the hill, about 40 miles away, is VA Palo Alto. And VA Palo Alto Medical Center is enormous. It's right next to Stanford, like literally right next to Stanford. And so you've got all of the medical community in Stanford, the education portion, all the people that are trying to learn how to be doctors, and of course, all of the medical professionals that are already established. Because of the proximity, VA Palo Alto has got some pretty sharp, high-speed medical capabilities. So that is supposed to be like the premier medical system, the VA medical system for the country. And again, the whole idea is put a nice little bow on it, and then you can do all kinds of different stuff with it. So California, you know, we, depending on your perspective, you know, it could be a mess, but there's some things that we're doing right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not a lot.
I love it.
So I just mentioned the United Veterans Council. I've heard that there are other UVCs around the country. Hopefully you guys have something like this. The United Veterans Council is an umbrella organization that encapsulates all of the veteran service organizations and service providers in the county. So our roster right now is, I think, 30 organizations deep, and we have monthly meetings right here in my basement, and we talk about the veteran community. We talk about progress, we talk about projects, we talk about a little bit of a lot, you know, and essentially to cohese the community and be force multiplier. One of the things that we're doing, I'll ceasefire. I'll get into that later.
You're good, man.
In addition to like the Veterans Memorial Building stuff, I'm also a board of trustees member for an organization called Vets for Vets. And that's where the community involvement comes in. Jim, you just mentioned Tennessee and having a lot of really good veteran support. Here in the Santa Cruz County, we have a lot of people that have big mouths. You know, I support veterans, but when it comes to like where the rubber meets the road, sometimes it's just hot air, you know?
Yeah.
So we have an organization called Vets for Vets that it's like community camaraderie and commitment. You know, we're combating isolationism, right? And we're getting veterans off the couch, out of the dark, and like, let's go hiking. Let's go to do a beach cleanup, right? They just had a bowling tournament. Every year we have a bowling tournament. A little bit of a lot. As a matter of fact, a handful of years ago, Operation Surf didn't do their dinner here where I'm at. They did it with Vets for Vets over at one of the local VFWs. Oh, okay. So we do things, not just like, you know, fun, exciting things, but there's also this major component of like fundraising, but bringing the community together, the partners, the dependents, the supporters. You know, we'll get together and do things like, let's go help renovate that house. Let's go clean up that storage unit. Joe Schmo veteran needs, like Joe Snuffy needs a ride to the airport or a VA medical appointment, you know? And so we really band together and help veterans where the rubber meets the road. Yeah. There's a cash assistance fund. There's just a little bit of a lot. So my role now is being like the public face, being the one to build the network and to create more partnerships and to solicit donors and do fundraisers and stuff, you know? And that's, I'll send you guys some more, some links towards that stuff. And what Vets for Vets is and what we do is incredible. It's awesome, you know?
Yeah, it's a great concept.
And then there's
I love it.
It's fantastic. And I think there's other like Vets for Vets organizations with the same title, and they do some very similar things across the country. So it's a great concept that a lot of people are doing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, get us out of the house, off the couch. I work with an organization Andrew had on before called Rocket Top Veterans Foundation. And his whole mission is they do Pints for Patriots. So every Wednesday around the first week, they do 7 counties in East Tennessee. They go out, they buy the dinner, you buy your drink, and then you bring your family, whatever. And it's always a good event. And they do suicide prevention training all around the county. So, yeah, it's everywhere. It's good stuff.
So good. You know, Vets for Vets has a really good collaboration with an organization called Journey for Change. And the concept originally started with I think he's an Army veteran. His name is Buzz. And his whole thing was, I'm going to start walking, you know, in recognition, support, and awareness of veteran suicide. And that just grew for him, and it grew here in the county. And now they do things like the Volks March. They'll start here in downtown Santa Cruz and walk all the way to, you know, the beach. And we got big flags, American flag, you know, stop veteran suicide, all that fun stuff. Everybody's got matching T-shirts, and you just have a mob of like 30 to 50 people walking up and down downtown Santa Cruz, you know?
That reminds me of the guys that hike with the silkies. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about?
Irreverent warriors.
Yeah. Irreverent warriors. Yeah.
I have heard of them.
I may be a part of that organization.
Are you out there in your
I
silkies, Jim?
don't wear
Jim, I don't want to see
silkies.
you in your silkies. I'm sorry, man.
I am not ever. So when we say old grumpy veteran, I am the oldest one here.
Yeah, I don't want to see Jim wearing his silkies hiking down the
Nobody
road, man.
wants
I
to
promise you I
see
don't.
me
You don't want to
myself.
see me either, so no offense, but
There are some things you just cannot
No.
unsee.
One leg dragger, yeah.
Very
That
nice.
can tell everybody I have a prosthetic leg.
Did not know that.
I don't have one. I have a brace that looks like I have ALS. So I have I have a brace that looks like a prosthetic leg and clicks when I walk because it has a hydraulic that kicks my leg out. And it's a full leg brace, but I wear jeans over it, so and it looks like I'm trying to kick. I'm not doing. I have no control of that
It's got a mind of its own.
Jim,
leg.
I won't lie to you, man. When you started talking about that, I was thinking about something else. My Marine Corps mind went someplace. You got a prosthetic on something while you're in your silkies. Yeah, I instantly started thinking about something else. I was like, God,
It's
man, Jim.
okay.
I don't want to think about that.
I was doing a recruiting event the other day, and my senior vice came in, and there's a young lady there. I'm not gonna tell this story. so anyway, when he walks in, he goes, "What's up, homo?" And I grabbed him and I said, "Only you, baby." And my daughter said, "Dad." I said, "It's a joke." "Oh yeah, you've never seen me with my Marine friends."
It's
Well,
funny
Dave,
about
you
that.
were talking about all these, everything you got, the amazing things you guys are doing, with veterans. But what is the, I don't, how am I supposed to ask this? Is everybody invited as far
Is
as
everybody
veterans?
invited?
And
Yeah.
veterans, yes, everybody. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of organizations, the VFW, and they have bylaws written and everything else. There's a lot of veterans out there that can't, for whatever reason, they can't join organizations. They can't do this and that. And that's what I'm asking is, there's a lot of veterans out there that made mistakes, but they're not bad people. Are those veterans invited? Can they come out and join
100%.
whatever you're doing? To be able to be a part of something, because they're still veterans, they're still human beings, they're still, I don't even know what I'm asking at this point, but
I'm picking up what you're putting down. 100%. The fact of the matter is that there are fraternal organizations and generational divides that have led to a fracture within the community.
Yes.
The VFW, right? Veterans of Foreign Wars. You're not a combat veteran? You haven't been to a foreign war? Nope. The American Legion's over there, right?
Yeah.
I've heard this. Obviously, I haven't experienced this, but like World War II generation, the war to end all wars. The economy's booming. We came back. We won, right? Vietnam era veterans come home and they want to get involved. And the World War II guys are like, nope, you guys are baby killers. You guys are not welcome here, right?
Yeah.
Huge issue. Now, the Desert Storm era guys, right? They are after the Vietnam era guys. And I don't think it was that kind of traction or friction in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm trying to get the Iraq, Afghanistan guys in the loop because that's us, right? That's our brethren. The fact of the matter, though, is that so many of us, we've got our face to the grindstone because we have to make a living. Everybody wants to start their own business, and everybody wants to make sure that I can keep the roof over my head, so I don't have the time to get involved with these organizations. The fact is that 100%. I want to touch every single one of those veterans in my community, and I've got personal battle buddies, people that I've grown up with that have like an other than honorable discharge, and like, dude, you want to come and grab a meal? Come on in. Do you want to try and upgrade your discharge? Let's have that conversation. Now, with all of that being said, I have had to ban veterans off of property. I've had to ban them out of my building. Fact of the matter, I mean, there's one person comes to mind who, Marine Corps veteran, take it for what it's worth. He's just a racist, misogynist asshole. He's caused a lot of problems, right? Yeah. And so
we know a couple of those guys.
We all do.
Yeah, but the big thing is a lot of these other guys you're talking about, they're decent human beings. They may have had something that happened, and they may have fucked up. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. They may have screwed up, and had a mistake here or there. But they served honorably, and all they want to do is serve the veteran community and these other organizations, but they're not invited. And that's one thing I would say to you is like, according to you, it's like, yeah, you're invited.
100%.
Come on in. Yeah.
The table. Let's break bread. Let's have that conversation. Share that meal. Yeah. Let's work together to not only support you and what you're going through, but also the battle buddy that's living under the bridge. Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're coming from or where you've been. It matters what you're doing now. But if you have anything in your military experience that might be dishonorable, as long as you're not like, again, being a dick and lighting buildings on fire.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah. So like I went to college for collaborative health and human services, and collaboration is the key in there, because there is too much divide. I know that politics are like a full ceasefire on this podcast, but that's one of the things that I personally feel can bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Just across the board, politics and religion are very divisive if you have that kind of a conversation. There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything, to include having those conversations, right? And so I want everybody to be at the table. We probably won't agree on everything, but we're going to shake hands on the way out. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Yeah. If I ever meet someone I agree with 100% of the time, I'm going to question everything they said.
Yes.
It's so true.
That is disingenuous. That is disingenuous.
I mean, we may agree 95%, but there's some we're going to disagree on.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
But you're right. We gotta get to a place in the veteran community where if you're a veteran, and we've all had this conversation before, you just gotta love them because they were your battle buddies, and some of the reasons they get these stupid other than honorables are just stupid. And it's like, yeah, I know it's the military, but come on now. Let's fix that crap. But a veteran's a veteran, and I don't care.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jim. And that's one thing, Dave, I'm going to say it. I mean, to cut you off, you were ready to say something, but that's one thing Andrew has talked about is, it's all these, I've been a part of, these, with Andrew. He's invited me on these podcasts, talking to people like yourself, Dave, these organizations, it may be VFW, Wounded Warriors, it may be whatever, but they are so close-minded, and they can't. Then they turn around and say, "Well, we can't get younger. We can't get the younger generation to join us. We're losing membership. We're losing this. We're losing that." And it's like, okay, well, maybe you guys need to start changing the mindset on a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a 50-year-old man. You know, I went in the Marine Corps in 1992 and got out in 2007. But you know,
he's old as dirt.
Yeah, I'm an old. Yeah, whatever. You sound like my son, Andrew.
1989.
Yeah.
89.
All right, Jim, I'll give that to you. Yeah, okay. I'll give that to you. But you know, we've had multiple, you know, on the podcast sit there and talk about, you know, the Marine Corps League. It's the VFW. We can't, you know, it's not even that. It's just, you know, like these old, you know, old town like I grew up with, the Elks Club, the Moose Club, you know, stuff like that. They can't get younger people to join because there's nothing in it for them.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, you know, let these guys join. And they can get members, but Andrew's talked about this. Is like, is there a way to get like virtual
There's
meetings?
There's a way. We're
virtual meetings. Can we do, you know, stuff like that? You know, it's like, well, you got to be here. You got to be face to face.
We're actually starting my next detachment. Our next meeting is going to be we're going to have a virtual aspect to the meeting, which is really cool.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to get quite a few of the guys that I've talked to that said, hey, yeah, I wouldn't mind joining, but I just can't, you know, I can't make it there, what have you. Doing the virtual thing is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, in this day and age,
that doesn't mean you get to stay home locked up.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Jim keeps riding my tail that I had to go up here to see my daughter so I can go see him. Yeah, so I can join the Marine Corps. Like, he keeps riding my butt about that. He's like, when are you going to get up here and do this? And I was like, man, when I can.
Shannon, I'll shoot you a link for the virtual thing that we're going to do. So anyways, sorry. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, in this day and age, we have to get with the times, for lack of a better term. You know,
Yeah.
one of the reasons why a lot of our local VFWs and American Legions are having a hard time is because those are fraternal organizations, and the ones who are running those fraternal organizations are the Vietnam veterans. You know, the Korea. We have she just turned 99 years old, and she is a firecracker. But the fact of the matter is that she's one of the people in charge, and like I love her very much because she is a force multiplier to be reckoned with. You know, and when it comes to like the forward movement, the next generation, you know, there is a cultural divide. You know, so we have to get with the times to make sure that we are playing the room. You know, read the room. There's a thought that just lost.
Well, there's the whole thing for the younger generation, like me and probably younger. Texting, I would much rather get a text than a phone call because I can see, okay, this text just came through. Is this like really important or what? I don't answer the phone unless I know who the number is. Like if I know who the number is, I'm like, okay, I'll answer the phone, which nowadays, since I've retired, a lot of times I leave it on mute and forget to look at it anyways and don't answer it no matter what. But, you know, I'd rather get a text and be like, hey, you got a couple minutes to chat. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. And then we can link up or what have you, you know. But so there's that generational divide in that. And that the phone call thing, it's kind of gone to the wayside, man.
I hate phone calls.
Yeah.
Crap.
I screwed you up big time. I'm sorry.
I lost it. It was something good too. That's right. It'll come back. I'm sure it will.
You're getting
I'm
old,
sure.
man. You're like all of us. You're getting old. You're like, man, I was.
Yeah. Welcome to the
Welcome
club.
to a fireside chat.
I was gonna say something, and I don't remember what I was gonna say.
It just came back. It just came back. I've seen these new campaign videos for the American Legions, and they have younger generation veterans. There's this one specific guy, and I can't remember his name, but he's this Army officer, and he's just got this wacky content, you know. And
I follow him, and he's a great guy. Yeah, he is doing leaps and bounds, fantastic stuff on behalf of the Legion, and you know, it's comedic. It's right up the younger generation's alley. He can really he's part of the younger generation, but you know, he relates very well, and that is drawing a lot of people to the American Legion.
That's fantastic.
You know, which is a fantastic thing.
Yep. You got to read the room. Read the room.
Oh yeah. What is that guy's name? So all of that like dated 9 to 5, you know, it's not really 9 to 5, but all that day job stuff, you know, the reason why, I'll go so far as to say the reason why I was reached out to for this job is because of the work that I've been doing in the veteran community beforehand, you know, from 2015 to 2020. And then as of late, May of last year, you know, I've been a radio talk show host here at one of the local terrestrial radio stations, and it's the Veterans Take Charge radio show. So long story short, my co-host, I met that guy in 8th grade. He's the reason why I joined the wrestling team. He's the reason why I joined the Army. His dad was our soccer coach for so many years. His mom was like my other mom. We're just family friends. You know, my sister was friends with his sister. I coached his brother for soccer before I joined the military. Wow.
Well, right after high school, he joins the military. He goes in, he's a communications operator in the Ranger Regiment. So he's out doing his thing, you know, being a Ranger. And he comes home on leave one day. And by this time, I was working at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I was in a couple of bands. I was just like a pothead fucking around, not doing anything really meaningful. And he has this big party. Like I think it was he graduated RIP school or something like that. And so we go to his house. I go to his house, and we're having a good old time. And there was probably about 50 people at his house, all like. This was a little while after we graduated high school, so it's kind of like a reunion with a lot of us. Anyway, He pulled me aside. And he says, "Dude, we were all drunk." He's like, "Dude, of all the people here, you could do this Army thing. You could do this Army thing." And I was like, "Wow, let me think about that." You know, and then long story short, my parents were like, "Hey, we're moving from Prunedale, like right around the corner from Monterey. We're moving down to Los Angeles." It's like, no. So I thought, I don't want to deal with traffic in LA, so I'm going to join the Army. So it was because of him. And as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I kind of forgot about this. His recruiter was my recruiter. When I went to the recruiting station, I just randomly was like, "Hey, let's have this conversation." And then long story short, found out it was him who recruited my battle buddy.
I love it. Well, that is awesome.
Small world, right? Super small world.
Oh yeah.
So after my second deployment, I came back to Monterey, California, and I was the NCOIC of the Presidio Monterey's Army Health Clinic. And one day I'm up having lunch, you know, all the students are in their classrooms and whatnot. So it's just me outside having lunch, and I see my buddy. I see him walking by in civilian clothes. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? And so, long story, like he's like, "Hey, I got out of the military because of medical complications." He was like building barracks for a construction company, and that's how we re-engaged. And so he had been fighting the VA for his service-connected disability. He had some major issues going on, and he ended up fighting the VA for like 11 years, and finally got his 100%. But like, he had gotten himself involved with the local radio station owner for like some completely sidebar stuff. It was like network marketing for a nutritional company. And he had some nutritional deficiencies that led to his pancreas dying, and he developed immunocompromised diabetes while he was in the Army. And so the Ranger Regiment was like, dude, you can't deploy. You can like push pencils or not. He was like, nope, screw that. I'm out.
Yeah.
So he's had this mentality of like spec ops, hard charger. I'm doing it. Even to today, he's a hard charger. So he's in this business relationship with a radio station owner, and he's telling his story about the VA and his medical career to the radio station owner. And his mom happens to be sitting there, the radio station's owner's mom.
Yeah.
Her name was Kay Zwirling. Thank you, Kay. She's hearing Justin's story. And Kay Zwirling is also like legendary in the local radio circuit because she owned the radio station.
Oh, wow.
And so
Okay.
Justin's telling Michael Zwirling his story, and Kay like grabs onto her son's arm. And she's like, Michael, you have to help him. You have to help him. And so Justin started developing like, hey, maybe we could have a radio broadcast, do some of this. And so one day he's back over at my house, and we were maybe inebriated, and he's like, dude,
that's where all good thoughts come from.
Right? Isn't that how we became a country?
I think so.
So he's at my house, and we're just kind of jaw jacking. He's like, we should do this radio thing. I'm like, yeah, we should do this radio thing. He's like, we should go talk to the radio station owner. I'm like, yeah, we should go talk to the radio station owner. He's like, we should do that right now. And I'm like, yeah, we should. Wait, like right now? Like right now?
Right now.
So we hightail it over to the radio station, and this is like a Friday night, right? And so we pitch this idea. Justin's like, hey, I want to tell my story. Dave has a story. Let's just like, I want to have a radio show to help veterans talk about stories. And so Michael Zwirling, he says, you know what, guys, I have my Saturday special tomorrow. How about I bring you guys on? We have a conversation. Let's just see how it goes. Let's see where it goes, right? So, okay, cool. Roger, got it. And then we, of course, we're like, hey, we're going to be on the radio. Take a listen. And this is what we're going to do. And so we get on and we start telling our story a little bit, and we start getting phone calls. And like, there's local phone calls. Hey, we support the veterans. This is cool. Roger, got it. And then we had somebody calling from Washington State. And that's where the radio station was like, oh, all right, cool. And then one of my battle buddies called in from Germany. And he was like, oh, all right. And then we started getting more and more pockets of people. And it was only a handful of phone calls, but it wasn't local to Santa Cruz. And
that's so wild.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So he says, after the broadcast, he says, all right, boys, I'm going to give you a 2-hour slot. There's two broadcast stations, right? Smaller and then a bigger. He says, I'm going to give you 2 hours on the small station, and don't fuck it up. And so
it's the best instructions ever.
Right. And so we went in, we did our thing, and we had a lot of fun. And probably within the first 5, 6, 7 months, we started getting phone calls saying, hey, I'm listening to your show, but I'm competing with the other show on the big station. I'm passing back and forth, man. I don't want to do that. And the other person, her name was Georgia, coincidentally. She's this Southern lady. She's got this big personality, really nice. But she was who was on at the other channel at the same time.
Right.
And so Michael Zwirling started to get a lot of feedback like, hey, I want to listen to these guys, but there's this other stuff going on. And so we worked with him and we talked to him. We're like, hey, how about we shift time? Can we be on the big station? And he said, sure, let's shift time. So we picked up Sunday evenings from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And for the next 4 years, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. the Veterans Take Charge radio show was on AM 1080 KSCO. And we, like, I could ramble for the next 4 hours about the radio program itself. Like, first off, it was a hell of a lot of fun. Like, I had this massive personality. I sat down for one broadcast in the last 5.5 years. I sat down for one because I just get so into it. And we're talking about stuff
so
that's like, this is us. Yeah, totally. So the whole premise of the broadcast was like, we're gonna share military stories, right? Strong stories and hard truths. Every single veteran has a very strong story, and embedded are some very hard truths.
Yeah.
And so we started sharing stories. And then we started, every broadcast, we would interview a nonprofit organization, a veteran-owned nonprofit organization. Tell me about your military service. Tell me about how transition was outside of the military. Tell me how that led you to this nonprofit organization. What are you doing now? What are you doing next? Right? And then, we're also peppering that with let's talk about local, national, and international issues through the lens of veterans. And so we started generating, all this interest and all this conversation. And, politics is not off the table for us. My battle buddy, he was a ranger. He's very conservative. His job was to break stuff. I was a medic. I'm very liberal. My job is to put it all back together.
Makes sense.
Right? And so, we would generate a lot of consternation, I guess, in regards to our political talk. I didn't like the political talk so much because I wanted to share those stories, plus it's a conservative listening audience for the most part, despite the reputation that Santa Cruz has. And so I would spit out my fact-based opinions, and then I get a whole bunch of people calling in and be like, no, shut up, you're dumb.
Nice.
But the cool part about it is with all of the stories that we've shared, we've never strayed away from talking about the hard stuff. Post-traumatic stress, suicide, homelessness, military sexual trauma, broken relationships, all this stuff. Some stories really flood back into my mind because there were some times where we would get callers like, dude, give us a trigger warning next time. Right. There was one in particular that always sticks with me. And AJ, I told you this. We had a veteran who was a former Ranger. He did the Ranger thing, and he was just depressed. I mean, for lack of a better term, he was just depressed, literally sitting in his den with the gun to his head, and his son walked in. And that's when he was like, whoa, okay. That's my come to Jesus moment. That's my reality check. And so he started a nonprofit organization. It's called Comfort Farms, and he does sustainable, high quality hogs and other food things. And he's just getting into the culinary arts, and he's thriving. And we've told so many stories like that. We've told stories about the soldiers that were Jessica Lynch. Do you guys remember Jessica Lynch, the POW who got picked up? So we interviewed one of the Spec Ops guys that was on the recovery team after she was rescued. And the things that he saw, the things that they recovered are nightmares, shallow graves, decomposed bodies, parts, things like that. Right. And that's where people were like, hey, we want to hear about news, local traffic. What's going on right now? And so
that's not local traffic. I can tell you that.
We had politicians and actors, artists, authors. Some of my Congressman Jimmy Panetta, Leon Panetta's son. Leon Panetta was our Secretary of Defense for a while. His son is a Navy Spec Ops, not Spec Ops, but Navy intelligence officer. At least he was. Okay. Now he's our congressman. So I had him on the radio show a couple of times. Vincent Rocco Vargas, we had him on a couple of times, just once actually. Max Martini, he was in The Wire and Pacific Rim and a couple of other things. And then of course, we've got the other veterans that just I was homeless for so long, and this helped me out. So we've had a little bit of a lot going on, and it's been very humbling. Yeah. Being on the radio is very empowering, right? It's a position of influence because people are hearing us, and we have that responsibility to be as integritous and as accurate as possible, right? Yeah. But it's also very humbling because I'm bringing people on that have a very hard truth to tell. Yeah. And some of them have never told that truth. There's the stigma and the stereotype that the Vietnam era veterans, the Vietnam veterans don't talk about their stuff. Right. My grandfather was a Marine Corps veteran, and he was in Korea. He was a POW in Korea. He went to Vietnam twice. He was Admiral Nimitz' personal driver. He was a drill instructor. He's done some incredible, tremendous stuff. And the only reason I know about this is because I saw his 214 and his shadow box. Never said a word of it. After the fact, I found out all these teeth were fake because of the butt of an AK-47.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. So just like what you're doing here, you're sharing stories, you're preserving these stories so that future generations can hear them and can know, like, yo, these are the trailblazers. These are the people that built the military to the position that I'm now a part of, right? We're trying to do the exact same thing. And it's just it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And if I could give just a real quick plug, like, we're getting into podcasting. We're doing stuff with Roku TV. This last broadcast that we did just a little bit ago, we talked about the VA and some of the things going on within the VA that, like, the veteran community was like, no. The whole, like, if your medications work, we're going to lower your service connected. Nope. Yeah. Ceasefire. We talked about those 4 tech billionaires that were just like, I say that they bought their way. The 4 tech billionaires that were, like, brand new into the military as lieutenant colonels. Yeah. Something's fishy, we talked about, like, those are the real quick, like, surface level. Let's hit this real quick, hit this real quick. But then the meat and potatoes of what we talked about this last broadcast was about the rules of engagement. 2 things, rules of engagement, and of course, the Epstein files. But the rules of engagement conversation really took a big chunk of time, because we were talking about the rules of engagement, the differences between combat arms, the Minnesota Police Department, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement in response to Alex Preddy being murdered. And that conversation was a very good, powerful conversation. And we got people calling in on both sides of the spectrum. This is what I saw in the video footage. This is what I've heard about this guy's past, and this is what's going on with ICE in general. So, like, again, politics, good, bad, or indifferent. We try to face these things head on, and we try to provide the general public a different perspective, right? Yeah. The whole nature of the show is, like, we're going to bridge the gap. We're going to give the civilian population a little bit of a taste. Not too much. But we're going to overwhelm them. 100%. So wow, that's kind of what's going on, like, professionally. And I realize that it's already 6:15 my time.
Oh, you're good. Don't even worry about time. Because,
like, go ahead.
Your podcast that you're starting, like, you've already done several episodes of it, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what, and is it called Veterans Talk or Veterans Take Charge as well, or what?
So the umbrella that we're putting together is Veterans Take Charge. And so we've got Veterans Take Charge radio show, Veterans Take Charge podcast. We're getting into, again, Roku TV. Justin is still involved with that nutrition company. And so we've got the Veterans Take Charge health team that was trying to reignite. So Veterans Take Charge is this umbrella. And as far as the podcasting goes, we have all of those previous broadcasts saved in an archive from terrestrial radio. So we're going to kind of chop them up, edit them, and then upload them as free content. And then moving forward, that's all going to be the subscriber content. And so, like, on the radio, we have to be filtered, right? There's certain things we can't say. And again, those whole, like, trigger warnings, that's where, like, we have to be tame, for lack of a better term. Yeah. But then the podcasting is going to be like, that's the unfiltered, no holds barred stuff. Yeah.
We've gone there a couple of times. Every now and again we got to pull it back just a little bit. I'm like, especially on the politics side. I try to stay away from that as much as I possibly can, especially now that we're a nonprofit. That's one of the things that nonprofits are supposed to stay away from, political aspects and stuff like that. So I try my best to steer clear of that. But we have definitely talked about some pretty wild stuff on here for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Dave, on a radio, do you have a dump button? A dump button? That's what I've heard. You guys have, like, a dump button. If something gets too crazy, you hit the dump button, it backs it back, like.
I think it's like a 7-second backlog or something like that.
Yeah, you can sit there and somebody gets a little too crazy, or especially if you're talking to veterans.
That day that we were on, like, the very first day that we were on with Michael Zwirling doing, like, the let's just see if this works. The guy who called in from Washington, I had no idea who he was. Justin didn't know, but he was some dude in Washington who happened to he was playing a prank on another unit, like, stole their guide on. And, like, as he was telling the story, he dropped the F-bomb, like, really hard.
That's what
I'm sure. Not just one.
Radio, there's a dump button, you can hit it, but you only get so many times. At that point, then it's like, okay, we're out of we're out of recycled time here, so it's like, all right, it's good talking to you. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.
I cannot confirm nor deny we've had to use that dump button more than a fair share.
Yeah. I've got a friend that's in radio, and he said that, man, I've had to use it. He says that all the time. He's like, you wouldn't believe how many times I got to use that damn dump button. It's just, and it's not just him. It's, there's a whole team of you in a studio, and everybody's reaching at the same damn time trying to hit the damn button. They're like, yeah, we are.
Yep.
Trying to hit the button. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the big red e-stop button or something like that. But they're all like, yeah, we got to hit. They're like, we had to hit the dump button.
At first, like in the
so when you were talking about veterans, it made me automatically think, because we get on here and Andrew's like, hey, you guys really need to kind of tone it down a little bit. You need to back it off. No. You need to do this.
You're good. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No. We'll throw one here and out. We had one a couple weeks ago. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like, we need to. It's like, we're all texting each other. It's like, is this the way you want this to go? And he's like, no, not really.
I was like, not really, but we're here.
It's like, hit the button. It's like, yeah, we're out of hits.
I will say that because I go live on all the different social media platforms, and I've had more than one social media platform be like, yeah, we're gonna stop this because you can't say that. And that happens. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, like freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences.
Yeah. Oh man, looky here. Your buddies have called in. Tracer Burnout. Do you know who those guys are?
I don't specifically, but I did reach out to them a handful of weeks ago, I guess, and
they haven't responded because they're turds. Tracer Burnout. How dare you?
That's Army guys. Yeah,
you know
Army
what?
guys treat Army guys like,
fellow soldier.
Exactly.
And all you want to do is come in here and talk about crayons. I mean, come on, dude.
It's late for us. We've already had our snacks.
Yeah, we already had our snacks. We don't need any more.
Yeah. Two Army guys wanting to treat an Army guy. Yeah. We see how it is.
Sense.
We see how you Army guys are.
He's got the I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that holds water.
Oh boy.
I don't know which one of them that is, but if you want to jump on here, the link, so you can just jump on here and we can just have this live right now. We can just go at it, and we can all jump on you and tell you how messed up you are for this. So.
Oh man, that's awesome. Our VSO is a Marine Corps veteran, right? And I made the comment today, something about eating crayons, and dude almost whooped my ass.
It doesn't bother me anymore. I just go along with it. I really just go along with everything anymore. I just,
you kind of have to these days.
Putting my kids to bed.
Yeah, excuses. Yeah.
Excuses like assholes.
Excuses.
Think about this. When they called us leathernecks, it wasn't a nice term, but we take it with pride. When they called us jarheads, it wasn't a nice term, but we may take it with pride. Devil dog and all our stuff were meant to insult us. Marines don't give a damn.
Here.
Yeah.
Hey, I agree with you, Jim. You sit there and call me a damn crayon eater, and it kind of like, I'll show you where I'm going to put that damn crayon. I promise you.
Trust me,
it's not going to be the little crayon. It's going to be the one you had in kindergarten. That, the big fat one. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put it.
Hey, I've got to be honest. I was watching the face pages today, and something popped up, and it was this little kid. I don't know, maybe a couple years old, something like that, right? Had a crayon, started to put the crayon in its mouth, and the mom grabbed the crayon and yanked it out and said, "You can't eat that. You're not a Marine yet."
Yeah.
I about fell over laughing.
Yeah. Kelly had sent that video to me. She sent it. She goes, "This look familiar?" And I was like, I won't say what I replied back. I was like, "Yeah, this looks."
I love
She
it.
goes, "Let's."
Oh man, good times, man. Good times.
Good
Well,
stuff,
shoot.
man.
Is there anything else that other than picking on Tracer Burnout because they didn't ever get back with you? Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I mean, there's again, man, there's no plethora of stuff that I couldn't talk about. You know, get into the whole thing about like strong stories and hard truths. You know, my military experience. What led me into the military is a hell of a deal. And I was telling you guys at the very beginning, I had a VA appointment today, and it was just an unexpected trauma dump of everything that led me up to joining the military. And then when I did join the military, you know, that's when I really started to thrive in life. And one story that not a lot of people know that I'm going to tell you guys, and don't judge me, there's a reason behind it. I in AIT, right? In medic school, you go through medic school, you're learning how to be a medic and whatnot. I went AWOL for 47 hours.
Oh, wow.
Now, it wasn't because I didn't like the military or I didn't want to be a medic or I was trying to escape. It was because I was going to go propose to a girl. And like death, divorce, and deployment, right? The 3 Ds, you're going to experience at least one in the military, right? All three. So I ended up marrying her, which was fantastic. And that's a whole story in itself. But, you know, in regards to that military experience and the strong stories, you know, 6 weeks after graduating AIT and medic school, I was in Iraq. My first duty station was Camp Buka. Like you could like throw a rock and hit Kuwait. It was super south, but it was a detaining facility. So when they were closing down Abu Ghraib after the whole scandal, they sent a lot of their detainees to where I was at. And so our patient population just like skyrocketed while I was there. And, you know, that was kind of my like, hey, thanks for joining the Army. Welcome to war. You know, when I graduated AIT, it was myself and six other battle buddies from AIT that went to the same unit. And
Holy cow.
Yeah. Because of the fact that I had proposed to this girl and got married right after AIT, I stayed back to make sure that like she got housing and she got, you know, all of her stuff squared away. My other battle buddies, they deployed with that unit, or I take that back. The unit was already there. And so when we got to Fort Lewis in Washington, the reception was like, don't unpack your bags. Like, here's some DCUs, go catch up. Right. So my battle buddies, they left at like 4 weeks after AIT. They were in Iraq. I stayed back for an additional 2 to make sure that like she was all squared away. So when I flew over with a unit that was not my unit. I went over there not knowing who I was looking for until I saw this like young E5, like, are you Private Ramos? You know, we were staged in our convoy, getting ready to travel from Kuwait to Iraq, and the convoy was delayed. And so, like, I don't know anything about the military. I've been in the military for 15 whole minutes, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever, you know. And they're like, yeah, it's delayed because there's an IED in the road. Like, oh my God, I'm really at war right now. There's
that's when it all starts coming back, and you're like, oh, it's becoming real. Yeah,
like it was game on, you know. Detaining operations, my job was to make sure that the detainees didn't die, right? There's, you know, Shiites and Sunnis and, you know, all these different religions all in like one compound. So we would have fights breaking out. We would have riots breaking out. You know, we had some like, the first time I saw someone die was a detainee, and it was in a riot. And, you know, that again was like the whole, like, I've been in the military for 15 whole minutes. Like, holy shit. Okay. Game on.
Wow.
After, you know, we redeployed, came back home. You know, of course, I'm giving you guys the 30,000 foot view, right?
Yeah. It's all good.
And then when you're home, the whole mission objective is to get ready to go back to war.
Right.
So we're training and we're training, and there's all kinds of cool stuff going on. And then we are deploying. And the first camp that I was at, my second deployment, was this little spot called Q West, Al Kayara. And we are there. It's like the first 3 days that I'm there, and we haven't even like done the handoff with the unit that we're taking over for, right? And we had the story goes that like I was having sleep problems. You know, we're just now in country, like transitioning, getting like acclimated. Everything was just haywire. So like I'm exhausted. It's probably 10:30 at night, and it's me and I was bunking up with my squad leader and our Connex. Boom, boom, boom. And like, I'm tired. I don't want to answer the door. I'm waiting for him to do it. He also doesn't want to answer the door. Boom, boom, boom. What? And the door just flies open. He's like, there's a mass cal. Everybody's got to go to the TMC. Like, oh. Game on. Right. So our Connexes were right next to the flight line, and we start seeing helicopters coming down. And our TMC, the Troop Medical Clinic, is 500 meters away. And in between our little Connexes and the TMC, there's nothing, right? So it's, again, 10:30 at night, and I see the TMC because I see spotlights, and I see floodlights, and I see ambulances, and I see like 997 ambulances, military ambulances. I see fire trucks, and I see a whole bunch of people, and it's like, oh. Make a beeline, right? And so we get into the TMC, and I go and I drop my weapon over at the weapons rack. There's somebody who's on the phone, like actively calling 9 lines, right? And I come back into the trauma bay and I walk in, and it's just chaos. Wow. The first thing that hit me was the smell. There's certain things, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this. It's singed in there. You will never forget that smell. Yeah. Bodies, trash, mud, blood. It smells like bodies in there. There was a volleyball game or a soccer game or something like that going on in an Iraqi police department, and somebody drove a V-bid and blew themselves up. And we had 33 casualties that night. Now, this specific incident, the third day in country, is what made me lose my faith in God. And this is what put me on a very downward spiral for a long time. Yeah. So, Mascal situation. Here's the one funny part about this. I get in there, right? I've got my gloves up, and I see like 2 people are working on this person, 3 people are working on that person, 2 people over here, and I see 1 casualty and 1 dude working on that guy. So I'm like, all right, game on. I get up there and I see the casualty, and he's all kinds of roughed up, and I see the medic, but I'm not looking at the medic. I'm looking at the guy, and I'm like, tell me what you're doing, tell me what you got, let's do it. And he's like, hey, we got this, we got that, and he looks up and he's like, oh, Ramos, what's up, man?
Wow.
It was a dude I went to AIT with back like 2 years previous. Yeah. Totally small world, right? So anyway, that whole night was madness. We did a very good job, but there were three casualties did not make it. And one of the casualties was somebody who I was associated with, somebody I was working on. We had all kinds of stuff going on. And again, like at this point, I'm done with that casualty. I'm looking around and I see one person working on 1 body. So I go up there, and it turned out to be that person who was working on him was our PA that we were going to be working with for the rest of the deployment. And so at this point, I didn't really know him, but he's sitting there and he's doing a surgical crike, right? The casualty's face is all kinds of roughed up. So he can't breathe. He's like struggling to breathe. He's trying to yell and scream. And so the doc is doing a surgical crike, right? So under your Adam's apple, you got that little space, that little notch is your cricothyroidotomy, or your cricothyroid membrane. I'm
going to go with it because I don't know I have no idea. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
It's your breathing tube. So, he's trying to make his incision, and he's trying to drop a tube, and I've got the bag, right? So it's a BVM bag valve mask. And so he's trying to drop the tube. I'm trying to breathe for him. The kid, I call him a kid because he was my age or younger. And that's definitely a contributing factor. He's like struggling, and he's trying to yell and scream, and he's pushing at us, and he's like, he doesn't speak any bit of English. And so my mind is going haywire. Is he yelling for me? Is he yelling at me? Is he trying to pray? Is he calling to his God? Is he like cursing at us? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So the doc is trying to drop the tube, and all right, breathe. It didn't set. Breathe. It didn't set. So he's going in like the tube. You've got your esophagus and your trachea, right? Trachea is in front, esophagus is in back, and sometimes it doesn't set right for whatever reason.
Okay.
So we're doing this, and then the triage officer in a like the way that the book goes, the triage officer is the dentist in a mass cal situation, which is an officer. Okay. And so they're the ones who are supposed to be going around and telling you, what to do and how to do it in regards to prioritizing patients. And so he sees us and he's like, you guys need to stop. You guys need to stop because that guy's not going to make it. You guys need to go and do something else. And so the doc, he'd been in the military for a minute. He was like, Roger, got it. Let's do what we got to do. So we move this kid into the expectant pile. So with triage, it's the DIME concept, IDME, immediate, delayed, minimal, and expectant. Expectant is, they're circling the drain. There's not a lot you can do. It's either A, they need a Band-Aid and you don't worry about it, or B, I'm sorry.
They're basically gone at that point.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we put them in the expectant pile. And I turn and I'm at this point now, like everything's wrapping down. Most of the casualties are out on birds, and we're start cleaning up. And I turn back and I see this kid start flailing, and I see him trying to breathe. Hindsight's 2020, right? They're called agonal respirations. It's your body's last ditch effort to get oxygen into your system. Again. Hindsight's 2020. I saw that and I thought there's still a chance. So I went back to the kid and I hooked the bag back up and fucking A.
Wow.
I hooked the bag back up and I kept trying. And this kid again is just like, he's blue. And so I'm still trying. And the doc comes back and he says, you need to stop. And I wanted to keep going. And he said, Ramos, you need to stop and help somebody else that's going to make it. And it was at that point that I looked back at the kid, and I don't know if he was really there looking at me or not, but like that was the first time that I felt personally responsible for the loss of a life.
Wow.
And that followed me. That followed me every single day. So for the first 6 months, it's wild, For the first 6 months of that deployment, I was at Q West, and we had trauma coming in all the time. Mm-hmm. It was, we were surrounded by 3 Iraqi army brigades and almost all the trauma. I think I saw like maybe 2 traumatic incidents with American soldiers, right? The majority of it was Iraqi army, Iraqi police, and Iraqi civilians. Those were the majority of the casualties I saw. But they would come in once a week, twice a week. We would get a break, like, I think we had like a 2-week break, 10 days, something like that. Yeah. But they were constantly coming in. Mm-hmm. And we would have like 1, 2, 10. That 33 was the biggest mass cal that I saw. And
that's huge number though.
It really was. It really was, But because of that kid, I thought like it was overcompensation at that point. I can't let that happen again. I won't let that happen again.
Right.
And so, we were like rotating our shifts, right? It's my turn to take over shift. You go, grab some chow, get some rest, right? Mm-hmm. But I was almost always there. It was either the gym, the chow hall, or the TMC. It got to the point where they were like, Ramos is like the firefighter who starts fires just so he can put them out.
Wow. So, it was almost like you didn't want to go sleep because you felt the need that I need to be here to help.
100%. So it comes time for us to rotate, right? And so the rest of I was on a small team attached to the 45th STB. So it was myself and I think 7 or 8 other medics from my unit supporting these cats over at Al Kayara. So my platoon sergeant is doing his rounds for different camps where we're all at. And he's like, all right, man, it's time for you to go back to Spiker. Spiker's the big base where like the flagpole's all at, right? They got the green beans and the Carl's Jr. and all that shit. And so he's talking to all of us, and he pulls us all in a meeting. He's like, all right, it's time for us to go. You guys have until this time, start packing your stuff, and then we're going to fly you guys back out to Spiker. And after the meeting, I pulled him aside and I was like, Sergeant Whitaker, no, you cannot pull me out. I have to stay here. They need me. I cannot leave, because if I go back to Spiker, I'm going to lose my mind. There was a TMC, but it was like, I sprained my ankle. I have a cough, right?
Yeah.
I can't go back, Sergeant. Do not take me back. He said, Ramos, I get it, but I that's not fair. We have to give somebody else another chance. We have to give those other medics, the junior medics. This was my second deployment. We have to give those junior medics an opportunity. Fuck. So I conceded. All right, Roger, got it. And so I got back to Spiker, and we were like the hot shots when we got back, because Spiker had nothing going on. They had nothing going on. So we got back, and everybody was like, oh, wow, how was it? What was it like? So for a little bit, it was kind of like, I did the damn deal,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I was like, I'm going to lose my mind here. So another one of our platoon sergeants pulled me aside probably a week after I got there. And he says, do not tell anybody what I'm about to tell you. Do not unpack your bags, because you're not going to be here for very long. And so the next week, myself and another small team went out to Al Asad Air Base, Marine Corps camp.
Yeah.
And so I spent, the next handful of time over at Al Asad, and that we didn't see as much trauma, but we had a very important mission, because now we were teaching the combat lifesaver course to as many people as possible, because there was convoys coming in and out of that joint, and they were the ones who were seeing all the casualties outside the wire. Yeah. So, we had a very important mission, and like, there was all kinds of crazy crap about that place that we did just in the facility itself, so now it's like, we're probably 10 and a half, 11 months into our deployment, and like 83 days out from coming home, right? Who's counting, right? Who's counting?
yeah. Right.
we get word from Headshed, and they're like, hey, don't pack your bags. We just got extended. So that 12-month deployment turned into a 15-month deployment. My child was born the second month of that deployment. And so I missed.
Holy cow.
I came back like the week before his birthday. And when I came back, like, all of that was right here. And so it was hard to literally meet my child, let alone re-engage with my wife and try to, try to let everything be okay,
Yeah. Not just that, but you're back in reality, back in society, where nobody is thinking about that stuff. Nobody, it's not even a second thought, third thought, fourth thought. They don't even care. Is a lot of times, right?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
We get that nice little combat patch, right? But nobody really realizes what's inside of that combat patch.
Yeah, but that's the big thing, is society doesn't understand. They do not, excuse me, I'm sorry. They do not understand.
Yeah.
You know what society does understand? The movies and the stereotypes and the garbage that media tells them. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All veterans are disgruntled.
For you, literally what you were just talking about, Dave, is just, it's absolutely unbelievable. For you to just sit there and talk about it, that's what society doesn't understand. That's what, maybe we're bad about it. Maybe your radio show, your radio, you talk about it, and that's what Andrew does with this podcast. It's like, even, our families, my wife's like, why don't you talk to me about this? Why don't you talk to me about that? And it was like, why the hell would I come back to you and talk about this? Why would I talk to you about that? And it's just bottled up, anger, anxiety. It's like, why would I come back and talk about it? But that's our problem. And Dave, you literally just, I texted Andrew and I said, this is what this podcast is about. when you were talking.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's exactly what this podcast, and that's what Andrew does. Dave, I know you're doing it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's just unbelievable what we can do just talking to each other. We can agree, we can disagree, we can be on different parts of the country, different parts of politics. I don't give a damn, man. You know, it's just,
That's right.
you know, it's just to sit here and listen to you just now, Dave. Man, I'm sitting here right now teary-eyed listening to you. You know, that's what Andrew does. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It gives it's an outlet for us to just talk experiences. You know, bullshit. You know, the funny times, the bad times. You know, we've all got some funny times and shit we sit there and talk about. But you know, it's the bad times where you can actually talk to somebody that actually freaking understands.
Yes.
I don't understand that,
Yes.
you know, as far as the combat medic aspect of stuff. I've been on one side of it, but, you know, you've been on the other side of it. I don't understand that. But, you know, it's unbelievable what we can do as veterans. And Jim will say this, what we can do if we just open up and talk to each other, just talk. And that's all we have to do is talk. You know, we're all, at the end of the day, we're all damaged. I promise you, I'm as damaged as they come. But, you know, we've got to find a way to let it out. Actually talk. Where there's no judging, there's, you know, there's like, dude, okay. Let it go. Let it go, man.
You know, that's one thing that I think is incredibly, well, I think it's missed in society and even in the military culture is those safe spaces to be able to sit down and open up and talk, like literally talk about your feelings, like how you actually feel without the judgment, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times, you know, you go to see your VA doctor, you go to see whoever, right? And it's a civilian, and that conversation is not an easy conversation because it's just like they don't understand. But I can get on here and I can talk to you guys and I can open up and you guys get it. But not everybody does. And it's that whole aspect of you guys have been through at least some of what I've been through, right? Or I've been through at least some of what you've been through, and we can all relate to it. And having a safe space where nobody's gonna, you know, call you out and say
there's no judgment, man. It's absolutely no. Sorry, Dave. I apologize. You were in the Army, but you know it is.
I was wondering.
You know, we can bust each other's balls, but we can sit there and listen to, you know, just freaking listen, man. That's you know, that's one thing Andrew's done for me. I've known Andrew since what, 2003, 2004.
Ooh, awesome.
Like yeah.
Awesome.
You know, we've talked. You know, we served in Iraq together. You know, Jim. I've never met Jim personally, but I've known Jim for over a year now. And one day, you know, I promise you, Jim, I'm going to sit there and tool up, and you and I are going to sit here having a beer or a bourbon or something, man. But you know, it's just like. It's, you know, as far as veterans, you know, it's just people don't get us. But I think the problem is we don't allow people to get us.
That was good. True.
That's good.
You know, and
that's
like,
difficult.
We
difficult.
let them see what we're willing to let them see. And we hide everything else.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We are deep in it tonight. Woo.
Yeah. And that's the words of wisdom right there. So we don't have to get into that now. But, you know, that's the biggest thing is, you know, you meet a veteran and all of a sudden you'll sit there and you start talking with them. And next thing you know, you're saying shit you shouldn't say, or making comments and stuff like that you shouldn't make. But
because you're in good company.
There's no offense taken. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, dumbass, or
You mean like when people drop the F-bomb and I go, what did you just say? And my ex-wife says, you're a Minko, don't act that way. You used it all the time.
But just to and that's my problem is I have an extremely hard time opening up about myself. I've talked to Andrew, I've talked to Jim, other ones are on the podcast, but Dave, you literally just sitting there talking, and I had to mute myself, and I started getting teary-eyed, man, because I was like, this man is just opening up. And I don't take it the wrong way. I don't mean it like that, man. It was, you were extremely vulnerable, and I'm sure you haven't shared everything that you had to share. But it was like, I was like, holy shit, this is what Andrew. And I'll say this to Andrew, and I already texted him, and I'll say it again. This is what this podcast is for.
Awesome.
Love it.
I'm glad to be a part of it, man. I'm glad for the opportunity to be able to share. I started my journey in therapy while I was still active duty, just right after my second deployment, because I was not so much like depressed at the time, but I was angry, so angry, and that's what started, me starting therapy. And like I said, I had my appointment today, and that's like 18 years worth of therapy. And that, it's still fresh. It's still raw,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now I have the words to identify those feelings. Now I have the words to identify that experience,
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, but the big thing is there's an outlet.
Yeah.
Now there's an outlet for all of us to actually express how we feel and actually be emotional and actually be, between your radio show and Andrew and,
well,
now there's an outlet where we can actually talk.
So I just want to put a plug in, and I know I'm doing the cliche thing here, but the veteran service organizations that exist already, the veteran service organizations that are out there that have been becoming more and more present, right? Every one of those organizations is there for the exact same thing that we're here doing. It's just a matter of how do I fit into it, right? And Jim kind of hit it. You got to get off the couch and you got to actually go out and participate. You got to be a part of something. But those organizations, for any of those organizations that may or may not be listening, you need to take the time to figure out how can we accommodate some of these younger generation guys. How do we do that and encompass, like pull them in to the fold and make them feel comfortable where they can come in and they can have these hard discussions, have these types of conversations, and be able to get those things off their chest. Incredibly important. We just have to figure out a way to make that happen.
I could tell them how. They just might not understand everything I say.
Yep. That's right.
Because I do it here in Knoxville.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm up to 168 members and climbing.
Yeah. Now, Dave,
And
if you want to have somebody on your show that knows what's going on and is in the know in that community and what he's got going on there with the Marine Corps League and the other organizations that are out there, you should have Jim on your show, man.
Nice. I'm all about, again, collaboration, cross-market advertising, just like being a force multiplier, I think is another one of my new favorite terms,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We might even be able to get Tracer Burnout to reach out to you. I don't know. Those guys, man, you never know those two knuckleheads over there.
We'll
I
see.
tell you what, man. No, those two guys, they're good. They're good peeps. Yeah, they're good people. Good people to have
For what
on
it's
your.
worth,
On your
I'll give them a little. I'll give them a little bit of defense. When I did reach out to them, it was a very roundabout way. I tagged them in a post and was like, "Hey, come check this out. You guys come check this out."
Okay. Well, I guess I'll give them a little bit of a
drag them anyway.
Drag them down with it, man. No, Tracer Burnout does a fantastic job. They're over there recording veteran stories as well, getting those out there. And I don't know, man. It's so important, in my humble opinion, to record these stories and get them archived. And not just for those famous guys. We were talking about this before, Dave, when we had our conversation, but those Navy SEALs, man, those special forces, all those guys, man, their stories are pretty well documented. I won't say it's 100%, but it's pretty well documented. It's all of the guys that didn't, they weren't doing those things. And those stories get overlooked. And everyone's service is incredibly important. And which is why I'm excited. There's guys out there like you, Dave, that are taking the fight and saying, "Hey, tell your story. Let me hear it. What did you do?" And it's just so important.
Yeah, I agree. Again, if I could put something on your radar, the Congressional Library is something that I strongly encourage you to look into uploading and documenting some of the stuff with them.
Yeah, I need to reach out to them. And I mean, I'm doing it with the Marine Corps History Division. I'm doing it with them right now. I need to reach out to them and see kind of how I don't know how all that works. So if there's anybody out there that knows, anyways, let me know.
There you go.
Sorry.
There you go.
Throw it out there. For the one person that's listening right now, I don't know who you are on the YouTubes out there. Oh, nope, they went away. They heard me call them out. They were like, I'm out. I don't want none of part of that. Well, shoot, man. Dave, it's been fantastic having you on, man.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys a lot. Like I said, man, I appreciate the opportunity, and I want to be able to get you and the Lost Art Project on our show in the near future. Anytime. And again, talk about your experience. I mean, 20-year Marine Corps veteran. If I'm remembering correctly, I mean, you joined up before 9/11. Just like
I did.
You guys.
Yeah, I came in 99. Yeah.
Had an experience that lasted through a considerable amount of wartime.
Yeah.
Those are important stories.
Yeah. It's been a good ride. It was a good ride. It was time for me to go, and I'll leave it at that until we tell our story, and then we'll get the full understanding of that. I could go over there and grab my non-punitive letter of caution from the commanding general, but that's a whole other story, man.
I look forward to it, man. I look forward to it.
No, not Andrew. No.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. But anyways, Dave, thanks for coming on and doing this. I am going to do words of wisdom just because Mike said we already did it, but we didn't. We're going to do it anyways.
So how we can beat anything that was just said.
Oh, I can't hear you. My train's going off over here.
How can we beat anything that was already said?
I'll go.
That's a good point. But we're gonna damn it, we're gonna try. So this is a thing that I do at the end, Dave. Words of wisdom. I'll have Jim go first, and then you kind of get an idea of what we're doing here. Then you can say something, and then I'll go to Mike. I'll let Mike bring up the rear tonight because we're missing the resident sergeant major who has the humdinger at the end. He's not here with us tonight, so Mike has to do that. But this is words of wisdom, everybody. All right, Jim, man, what do you got for us?
All right, just remember, mistakes are just proof that you're trying.
Ooh. Yeah, that was good.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Buddy, if that's the case, man, I'm full of try. I'm telling
Hey,
you what.
trust me. That's encouraging to me too. I made plenty of those mistakes in life.
Heck yeah, man. I continue to make those mistakes, man. Woo.
Yeah, we will forever.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
You
All
can't grow
right.
without mistakes. Man. You can't grow without mistakes.
All right, Dave, what do you got for us, man?
Off the top of my head, it's the Army values, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And of course, military way, it's an acronym, leadership.
Dang. That was good, man. I like it. You know what? We like to pick on the Army, but that was good. That was good.
That was the humdinger right there.
Yeah, you came in with a humdinger in the middle.
You can do it 2 words right now.
He was in the Army talk. He's always going to show everybody up. And that's the way it goes.
Oh, man, I love it. All right, Mike, just so you know, you got 3 people listening right now, Mike.
Who's listening?
I have no idea who, but I know there's one on the face pages, and there's 2 on the YouTubes.
All right. So you may not get to choose the path you're given, but you have the decision to decide how you want to walk it.
Ooh. Yeah, that's good. That was good.
Good.
It was like you were listening to our conversation tonight. That was nice. Yeah. I was being nice, man. I was paying you a compliment. God,
It didn't sound
bless,
like a
man.
compliment.
I
That's
can't
like a
take you
shit
anywhere.
sandwich right there, man. That's what I got.
Oh man, you guys
Jim,
rock.
Jim's having an aneurysm.
Thank you.
Jim's going out of.
I appreciate you guys. Dave, thanks for coming on, man. Truly appreciate it.
You guys.
Veterans Take Charge. There's the Veterans Take Charge podcast, and then there's also the radio show. So if you want to throw out a couple of plugs real quick, go ahead and do so.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. So the Veterans Take Charge radio show is every 3rd Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time on AM 1080 KSCO. We are always streaming live on either Facebook. Well, I'll always have my Facebook live up. And then on the radio, or I'm sorry, as you were on the internet, zbsradio.com. Just hit the stream live now button and you can hear me and my battle buddies just jaw-jacking and trying to cause ruckus.
Nice. As it should be. Yeah,
yes, sir.
And now, is that the podcast as well? Is it kind of dual hatting?
We're building the database before we release it. So it's definitely in the works. It's definitely in the works. So stay tuned for more. If that wasn't a cliffhanger enough, I don't know what is.
Well, hey, Dave's going to come back on. He's going to tell his full story in detail. I can't wait to hear that, Dave. You already told a lot of your story tonight, so thank you for doing that. We got into some deep discussions. Truly appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, of course, Mike, Jim, I don't care what Dave says about you two. You guys rock. He's in the Army, man. I can't help it, man. I can't make my guests do things that I want. I think you guys are all right. I'll just put it that way. So
Thank you.
Dave, hang out whenever I do this outro. Don't hang up on me. We'll talk after. But to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some good resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net. Click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. Dave, Mike, Jim, they care about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with, ask them how they're doing. And if they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, fellas, one last time, thank you very much. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated, change your socks.
No more 22. On to the journey and finish the fight.